An E. coli outbreak linked to a popular hamburger from a fast food chain in the U.S. has left one person dead and at least 10 people hospitalized, according to local health authorities.
미국에서 한 패스트푸드 체인점의 인기 햄버거 품목과 관련된 대장균 집단 발병 사태로 지금까지 한 명이 숨지고 최소 10명이 입원했다고 현지 보건당국이 밝혔습니다. And for the purpose of this story, because this is in the news and people have been hospitalized, in fact, one person has even lost their life from it, we will be mentioning the name of the place, but it is strictly for the purpose of this news. So tell us more, Ray.
Well, speaking of guilty pleasures, we're talking about McDonald's, and it's not yet known which ingredient in the hamburger is making people sick. And it's the quarter pounder that has been linked in this story. So they're not sure right now if it's the onions or the beef patty used in the quarter pounder that's making people sick.
Yep.
They've taken it off the menu in many of the affected states. Most of the issues have taken place in Colorado and Nebraska. Here's my other page. I had the wrong page here. And at least 49 people in 10 states have actually been sickened by this. 10 people have gone to hospital, and one child has actually developed a kidney disease from this. Now, E. coli, the symptoms of E. coli are stomach cramps and diarrhea, vomiting, but the majority of people recover without treatment within a week. However, some people can develop severe kidney problems, as unfortunately this one child has. The person who died was just described as an older adult in Colorado.
자, E. coli가 바로 대장균이 되겠고요. 이제 이 발병을 한 패스트푸드 체인점 조금 전에 말씀을 드렸죠. 미국의 경우입니다. 그리고 미국에 있는 이 맥도날드에 있는 메뉴판에서 특정한 버거만 그랬어요. 그래서 현재는 미국에서 그 버거가 메뉴판에서 현재는 빠졌다고 합니다. 지금 그걸 서빙을 안 하고 면밀히 조사 중이라고 해요. 정확히 어떤 것 때문에 이렇게 대장균 발생을 한 것인지, 이렇게 많은 사람들이 아픈 것인지 확인 중에 있다고 합니다. So once again, we want to say that this is happening in America only. It's not just across the world.
No, and it's only in that area, Colorado, Nebraska.
In certain states.
Yes, I
특정 주에서만, 그것도 미국 전역이 아니고요. 특정 주에서 지금 이렇게 발병이 많이 되고 있다고 합니다. 조금 전에 아까 콜로라도하고 네브라스카라고 하셨나요?
Yeah, McDonald's released a statement on Tuesday that said an initial investigation found, quote, a subset of illnesses were tied to the slivered onions from one supplier that serves 3 of its distribution centers. So it looks as though it could be the onions.
Okay. It could be linked to the onions, we might say.
Right. Linked to means connected or related. There's a relationship exists.
Be linked to A라고 하면 A와 관계됐다, 연관이 있다 이런 뜻이어가지고요. An E. coli outbreak linked to a popular hamburger라고 했습니다.
So we talked about carbs earlier. So too many carbs is linked to weight gain a lot of the time.
맞아요. 탄수화물 너무 많이 섭취하면은 체중이 늘죠. 그래서 그게 연관성이 있다. Too many carbs is linked to weight gain. 자, 그 다음에는 be hospitalized.
That means you're admitted to the hospital. So it's different from just visiting the doctor or visiting the hospital for a checkup or something. When you're hospitalized, we say admitted to hospital. It means you have to stay there for a few days. So obviously it's more serious.
맞아요. 자, be admitted to hospital 하면은 입원하게 되는 겁니다. And then you become an inpatient, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So when you're admitted to hospital, does that mean you're staying there for a certain period of time?
Right.
inpatient가 그래서 이제 입원 환자가 되겠고요. outpatient는 거기서 입원한 건 아니고 뭐라 그러죠? 그냥 진료만 받는 환자가 되겠습니다. 자, 그러면 다시 한번 제가 읽어볼게요. An E. coli outbreak linked to a popular hamburger from a fast food chain in the US has left one person dead and at least 10 people hospitalized, according to local health authorities. Let's move on to the next headline.
A hoard of 1,000-year-old coins discovered by an amateur detectorist has sold for 4.3 million pounds, or about 7.7 billion won, and is set to be displayed at the British Museum.
네, 영국의 한 아마추어 보물사냥꾼이 발견한 약 1000년 전 동전 더미가 430만 파운드, 우리 돈으로 약 77억 원에 팔렸으며 곧 대영박물관에 전시될 예정인 것으로 알려졌습니다. But it took a really long time for this person to cash in their discovery,
And
right?
it's not just one person. It's a group of 7, actually.
Oh, is it? Okay, tell us more.
Well, this hoard was over 2,500 silver pennies from the time of the Norman conquest. And it's been bought for, as it mentions in the headline, 4.3 million pounds, and that is the highest value treasure ever found in the UK. Wow. 7 metal detectorists who found these coins back in 2019. The Treasure Act says the people who find it need to split the money with the landowner. So the landowner will get half the money, and then 2.15 million pounds will be split among 7 people.
그렇군요. 자, 일단은 이 발견된 거는 5년 전이에요. 그래서 이렇게 좀 오래 기다렸습니다. 7명의 detectorist라고 했는데요. 아마추어 보물사냥꾼이에요. 그래서 이 7명의 보물사냥꾼이 5년 전에 발견한 이 오래된 동전들, 그 가치가 이번에 77억 원에 팔렸으니까 뭐 상당하다고 볼 수 있겠고, 그 77억 원을 고스란히 7명이 나눠 갖는 건 아니고요. 땅 주인 있죠. 어딘가에서 발견했을 테니까 땅 주인이 50%, 그 다음에 나머지 50%는 7명이 나눠 갖는다고 합니다. 그리고 대영박물관, 영어로는 British Museum이라고 해요. 의외로 영어 제목이, 영어 이름이 굉장히 심플하죠. 대영박물관, 네, British Museum.
Have you ever been there?
I have, many times.
Oh, really? Yeah, it's free. You can just
free.
go in.
Yeah, I was going to say, because they have a lot of free exhibitions there.
No, it's good. It's really good. And so it'll be on display in the British Museum. Then it's actually going to be displayed, or not, like all these coins, in museums across the UK. And then it's going to have a permanent home at the Museum of Somerset in Taunton, which I believe is in the southwest.
I think so, yes. All right, what's a hoard of something?
A large collection of something, and the nuance for hoard is that it's usually kept in a secret place. Someone's been hiding them, basically. And you can also, if you call someone a hoarder, that means they keep everything. They never throw things out. So they're usually, their house is full of random items or what people might say is junk.
hoard의 스펠링은 hoard이고요. 저작물이라는 뜻이 있습니다. 왜 그런 사람들 있잖아요. 집에 물건을 버리지 못하고 다 항상 이제 저장해놓고 쌓아놓고 이러는 경우들 있죠. 그런 사람은 hoarder라고 이렇게 부릅니다. 자, what about a detectorist?
These are people. It's their as it mentions amateur. It's their hobby. They use a metal detector, which is this special machine. I've seen people using them, and they try to find valuable objects in the ground, especially in Britain, where they have such a long history and treasure is found. I've seen people in farmers' fields walking around with these things when I'm there.
그렇군요.
Yeah.
네, 디텍터리스트가 금속 탐지기를 들고 다니는 사람인데요. 금속 탐지기가 영어로는 metal detector예요. 그래서 그거 하는 사람이니까 우리가 dentist, artist 하는 것처럼 뒤에 ist 붙여서 detectorist라고 부릅니다. All right.
It looks fun. I wouldn't mind trying it one day when I'm there. Yeah, it looks kind of fun.
You'll find some old
Yeah,
coins.
I don't know how expensive metal detectors are. I don't know if you're able to rent them.
Maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm going to look into that next time.
You should. 자, 제가 다시 읽어보겠습니다. A hoard of 1,000-year-old coins discovered by an amateur detectorist has sold for 4.3 million pounds, or about 7.7 billion won, and is set to be displayed at the British Museum. Let's move on to the final headline.
New research shows that a 3.2 billion-year-old asteroid impact, which triggered worldwide destruction, may have actually benefited early life by acting as a giant fertilizer bomb, providing essential nutrients to the dominant bacteria and archaea of the time.
약 32억 년 전 지구의 충돌에 세계 파괴를 초래한 운석이 실제로는 거대한 비료 폭탄처럼 작용해 당시 지배종 박테리아와 세균류에 필수 영양소를 제공하는 등 지구 초기 생명체들의 도움이 되었을지 모른다는 새로운 연구 결과가 발표됐습니다. Tell us more, Ray.
Well, according to this new study, this meteorite, which was known as S2, which was actually 4 times the size of Mount Everest. 4 times the size of Mount Everest. Let that sink in.
Yeah.
Struck near present-day South Africa, and it was up to 200 times bigger than the asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs.
Goodness.
So massive, massive.
Wow.
So according to the research, there were actually big increases in the number of organisms that fed off the elements, namely phosphorus and iron, after the event. They say that iron was likely stirred up from the ocean into shallow waters because there was a tsunami. This asteroid, they believed, went into the ocean and caused this huge tsunami. And then the phosphorus was brought to the planet by the meteorite itself. Now, the experts are saying that this shift toward iron favoring bacteria is a key piece of the puzzle for understanding early life on the planet.
Yeah, it looks like it benefited Earth, and Earth benefited
Right.
from this explosion.
If you benefit from something, or if someone benefits from something, you're helped by it. It's a positive effect.
Yes. 득을 본다라는 뜻이 있습니다. 그래서 it looks like Earth benefited from this explosion. Or you could say the explosion benefited Earth. 자, 그다음에 essential nutrients.
If anything is essential, it's necessary, it's needed.
Yep.
And then nutrients are the substances that plants and animals and people need in order to live and grow. That's why we eat food for nutrients.
그렇죠. essential이라는 건 필수적이다. nutrient는 영양소. 그래서 필수 영양소 essential nutrients. 다시 읽어보겠습니다. New research shows that a 3.2 billion-year-old asteroid impact, which triggered worldwide destruction, may have actually benefited early life by acting as a giant fertilizer bomb, providing essential nutrients to the dominant bacteria and archaea of the time. Right, well, that's it for the headlines.